In this very short tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to outline your text in Adobe Illustrator. The reasons why you might want to outline your text is because it changes it from a text-based file or text-based object into an actual object. So the computer sees it differently. The downsides to turning your text into an outline, into an object, is that you can no longer edit the text if you want to change the font style or if you want to fix a spelling error. However, you can do some really amazing things with it. So right now I have a text box and I simply wrote Adobe Illustrator in there, and you'll see I can actually erase and I can fix any spelling errors, things like that. I can highlight it and I can change the font if I want it to. You have more freedoms to do those things. However, in order to change the size, you would have to highlight it and go up here to your size changes, go like that. You'll start to see that once you get to a certain size, if it's bigger than the text box, it cuts it off. So there's some downsides to designing with text as an actual text box or text object. So in order to turn it into a graphic, into an image that we can actually work with, is you simply right click on your text box and then go down to create outlines. Now you'll notice it got rid of the extra text box and we now have it as an object, and what this means is we can now, just using our selection tool, we can stretch it, we can enlarge it, we can distort it. If you want to keep it the same proportions, just make sure you hold down Shift when you actually enlarge it. You can also use your direct selection tool, the white arrow key, to come in here. And if you'll notice, we have points now because it's all done as a drawing, as an object. And oops, we can actually select on individual points to change and manipulate them. The other upside to outlining your fonts is we can actually, using our selection tool, we can right click and ungroup, and now we have each letter individual, so we can move them around and design in different ways with them that we could not do in the traditional text box. The other advantage of outlining your text, even if you don't want to manipulate the text, is if you outline the font and then you're sending it to somebody else to be printed, it doesn't matter if they don't have the font or not. So if you're using a very specific font, or if you're using a font that you purchased and you need it to be printed, by saving it after you've created outlines and then sending it to your printer, it doesn't matter if they have the fonts or not. The fonts are outlined, the computer reads it as an image and not a font. They don't need the font file and they can print it. So it actually helps a lot of issues when designing. So it's great to actually get creative with it and move things around and manipulate your text, but it also helps when sending it to a printer to actually have it printed. So hopefully this was helpful in outlining your text.